I can't make her come home. He's not making her come home.
All right, so Mr. Ratliff, you have filed a motion regarding custody, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And what are you looking to change?
Pretty much everything. Miss Devon has not been in association with her child, and it's got to be close to pushing a year, almost. No contact, no nothing. She doesn't know anything that's going on with her at all.
Are you asking that the order reflect that you have the
Full custody of my
primary?
child, yes.
When you say full, do you mean as to physical, legal, or both?
Both. I mean, her mom wants nothing to do with her anymore. I have text messages that prove it.
So Ms. Devitt, do you agree with that requested change or disagree?
I disagree.
All right. When was the last time you had parenting time?
The last time I seen my daughter was in December. It was at Christmas time. It was for basically her Christmas break during school.
Okay. So what are you thinking that the custody arrangement should be?
So I'm having a really hard time with this whole thing because me and Lee actually were in front of you back in March of 23. My daughter in January of 23 had contacted me and asked me if she could come home and live with me because her and her dad were not getting along. At that time, she came home. She lived with me from January to July of 23. In the time that she was here, Treasure battled very hardly with a lot of anxiety, depression. She was in and out of hospitals. She was being kicked out of school. She was very defiant. She would try to put her hands on me. She would be very rough with her brother, which we and Lee came to a decision because Treasure is 15. She wanted a job. She wanted to be placed somewhere where she could find an establishment. He lives an hour.
My question was, what do you think the custody and parenting time should be right now?
It's hard for me to say that because, to be honest, the reason why my daughter is not here is because of her. Her last conversation with me was that she didn't want me in her life. She didn't want me around. She does this back and forth stuff between parenting. 1 minute it's her dad, 1 minute it's me. And I'm having a hard time battling that as a parent because she's 15. So it's like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place because I know she doesn't want to be here right now. But in another year, she'll probably hate her dad and want to come home.
All right, well, I'm looking to see what we're gonna do right now. There's a school year approaching. And she's living with Mr. Ratliff, it sounds like at this time. So what is the plan for her school attendance this year?
She'll be going to school with me here.
To what school, sir?
She's actually going to online schooling this year. She doesn't like our high school. So and the teachers there also said that it would probably be good for her. So that's what the route we're going to try this year. And I explained to her, she was doing very good through school. She had no failing grades, and I fought tooth and hand with her over this, but she assured me that if she had any failing grades through this one, she would be going back to regular school after this year.
So Ms. Devitt, as for the school year, do you think the child should be with you for the school year or with dad for the school?
She's established her schooling down in West Branch. So as far as the schooling part goes, yes, I agree that that's where she should go because that's where she's been going.
Okay. So what type of parenting time are you requesting?
I can't request any parenting time when my daughter refuses to come home. Like how I can't make her come home. He's not making her come home. And like I said, the last conversation I had with her was that she hated me and didn't want to see me no more. But then you're going to message me in February and ask me for money.
All right. So
she messaged her.
Hold on, sir.
Okay.
What I need to get at is whether or not the two of you have some type of agreement as to what the custody and parenting time is. If you don't, we'll set the matter for a hearing. I'll interview the child. We'll go through the best interest factors and I'll make a decision. But if the two of you have an agreement, we can put that agreement on the record and move forward. So, I mean, it sounds as if there's some type of agreement that the child is going to live with dad for the school year. My question was whether or not you want an order regarding parenting time. If you feel that it won't be complied with and you just want a parenting time order that says as the parties agree, that can be done also. What I'm trying to get from you, ma'am, is what it is you are requesting of the court. So do you want to go to a hearing or do you think the two of you have an agreement?
I mean, I agree with her going to school there. Yes, I agree with that. With him asking for full custody, I don't think that I should have to give up my custody because my daughter doesn't want to come home.
Well, I'm not likely to change legal custody. I don't see enough to indicate that the two of you can't communicate to make those important decisions. So, I think legal custody should be joint. Physical custody obviously is a different issue, and then it becomes what kind of parenting time, if any, would be ordered for you, whether or not it would just be, whether it would be a specific parenting time schedule or whether it would be as the parties agree, meaning
I'm
when.
in agreement with us agreeing with her coming home when she is ready. I don't want her to come here and then not want to be here.
So, Mr. Ratliff, if we make a change that indicates that you've got the primary physical custody, that you two continue to share joint legal custody, and that Miss Devitt's parenting time is as the parties agree, is that something that you find acceptable, or do you want to have a hearing on the issue of legal custody?
Honestly, I'm at wit's end with all this between her and her daughter. I mean, I had some pretty vulgar text messages from her mother too about her daughter. And I've worked hard.
All right, so my question is pretty straightforward.
No.
I mean, both of you
No,
have
not
issues.
okay with
You're not okay with that?
No.
All right, then we'll set it for a hearing. All right. I guess the issue is whether or not you guys need 1 hour for a hearing or 3 hours for a hearing. Mr. Ratliff, how much time do you think you need for a hearing on this matter?
Whatever you need, sir.
Well, I don't know. I don't need anything.
I probably only need an hour.
You guys present the case to me. So do you think an hour is good, or do you think you need 3 hours?
I think I could do an hour.
Okay. Ms. Devitt, do you have any issue with an hour-long hearing?
No.
All right, so we'll set the matter for a hearing on October 30th at 11 a.m. That is a in-person hearing. You're both required to be here, and the minor child is also required to be here for a child preference interview. If you do reach some type of agreement before then, you can let the court know, and we can simply put the agreement on the record instead. Any questions, sir?
No, sir.
Ms. Devitt, any questions?
No, sir.
All right, thank you both for appearing. That does conclude the matter, and you may sign off. And Ms. Tucker, this is your motion regarding custody, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And what are you seeking to change, ma'am?
I am seeking change. I don't know if you saw them, and I don't know if I'm allowed to ask the court this to remove Aaron's rights or not. And if I'm not, then my motion would be, I don't want to have to take Aaron to court to change Lewin's domicile. He doesn't show up for them anyway. Aaron really has no contact in Lewin's life. And then to take the child support away. I don't know where Aaron is unless you guys call me and tell me he's in jail for child support. So now I found out he's in Florida. It's kind of a waste of everybody's time for child support. Aaron never pays it, really hasn't in almost the 10 years of Lewin's life. So I'm just trying to get rid of those two if I'm not allowed to get rid of Aaron's rights. I really don't know what his rights are since he doesn't have legal or physical custody. I have full.
Sure.
I'm just worried
All right,
that
well,
getting older. Oh, sorry.
I can't terminate rights. Only thing I can ever do in my position is suspend parenting time and those type of things as far as termination of rights. I'm not the court that can do that. So I can't do that. Your request regarding not having to seek the court's permission for moves, I can't override that either. That is part of the court rule case law. It's simple for you and to the most extent because you do have the sole legal, so you don't need his permission to move, but you do have to file that request through the court. I think the courts are pretty much, when it's sole legal, it's a pretty safe bet to say it's going to be allowed to move, but you do have to go through that process. As to support, I mean, you have the ability, if you want to stop support and waive any back amounts owing to you, you do have you are able to make that request. There's costs and fees that he may still have to worry about through the state, but if you want to, you don't want the support for you to continue to run, as well as if you want to waive the back support, you are certainly allowed to do that.
Okay.
So knowing that, ma'am,
Are you?
as a support issue, is that something you wish to do?
Yeah, I would like to stop the support, definitely.
Would you please raise your right hand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am. And is it correct that you have motioned the court and asked the court to stop the child support in this case?
Yes, sir.
And as to the back amount, do you want to forgive that amount or continue to seek collection of the back amount?
I'm going to forgive it. I just want to be done with it.
And are you doing this of your own free will and voluntarily?
Yes, I am.
This is not anything that Mr. Finch has pressured you into doing.
No, he has not.
And are you able to meet the needs for the child without the support from Mr. Finch?
Yes, sir.
In front of the court, questions or any issues that you see?
There was previous state, so there will be other parties.
Ma'am, do you receive any state aid at this time?
I do not.
All right, so I'm fine with waiving the fees and the amounts that Ms. Tucker can waive, so the amounts owed to her. You will have the issue with the other amounts that cannot be waived. We won't continue to collect the support given Ms. Tucker's testimony and position. The bench warrant that's out there is set at.
That I'm not sure. I can look in the file if you would like.
We can investigate that and figure out if we seek a motion to recall it or not based on this agreement. Because he still obviously owes, I'm guessing, a chunk of money, fees and costs, correct? Most likely.
Potentially, but if, depending on the amount that's still owed, we could then petition the court if appropriate in regards to the bench warrant.
Okay. All right, so we'll take a look into the bench warrant issue. But other than that, we will then discontinue the support owing to Ms. Tucker, and as well as she's forgiving the arrears in this matter. Ms. Tucker, any other questions?
If you guys are not the court process I would go through for rights, what court do I go through for that?
Is there going to be any sort of step parent adoption or not?
No, it's not. I'm just worried if something happens to me that Aaron would get Lewin, and Aaron's never known Lewin, and he obviously has shown that he's in and out of jail and he can't take care of himself. I'd rather just get rid of his rights. So no step parent adoption, would just be me and Lewin, like it's been for its whole 10 years.
I can't give out legal advice in my position, so I would just suggest that you speak to an attorney about the issue. and they can point
Oh,
you
you
in
guys
the
can't. Oh,
right path.
okay.
All right. All right. Thank you for appearing, Manny. We'll get a copy of the court's order from today.
Thank you, sir.
All set.